the story. A sleepy small town. A secret government lab buried deep in the woods. Children used as lab rats. And a tear into a dark, nightmare dimension called the Upside Down. We all think Stranger Things is a masterpiece of science fiction. But what if I told you the fiction part is thinner than you think? What if the Demogorgon, the psychic spies, and the rift in time weren't just made up by the Duffer brothers? What if they were trying to tell us about something that actually happened? Something that took place not in Hawkins, Indiana, but on the desolate, foggy edge of New York. Welcome to Montauk. And welcome to the nightmare that inspired it all. Here's the fact that Netflix doesn't advertise. When the creators of Stranger Things, the Duffer brothers, first pitched their show, it wasn't called Stranger Things. Its original title was simply Montauk. In the early pilot drafts, there was no Hawkins. The entire story was set in Montauk, Long Island. Why? Because of the dark legends surrounding a decommissioned Air Force base known as Camp Hero. Eventually, the location was changed for practical reasons. Or so they say. But you can change the name of the town, and you can change the names of the characters. But you cannot erase the history. The core of the show remains based on one of the most controversial conspiracy theories in American history, the Montauk Project. For decades, Camp Hero sat silent, a relic of the Cold War, until 1992, when a man named Preston Nichols stepped out of the shadows. He published a book that sent shockwaves through the conspiracy community titled The Montauk Project: Experiments in Time. Nichols claimed that underneath this quiet state park lay a massive, multi-level underground bunker. He wasn't just a storyteller, he claimed to be a survivor. He said he was an engineer for the project, and his memories had been repressed, wiped clean until they started flooding back. According to Nichols, the US government wasn't just testing radar, they were researching psychological warfare. They wanted to know if they could use electromagnetic frequencies to control a human mind, or shatter it completely. This is where it gets disturbing. Nichols alleged that the government kidnapped young boys, some orphans, some runaways. They were known as the Montauk Boys. Just like 11, these children were subjected to torture designed to break their minds and unlock latent psychic abilities. But the centerpiece of this horror wasn't a sensory deprivation tank. It was something called the Montauk chair. Nichols described it as a piece of alien technology or advanced quantum machinery. A psychic would sit in the chair, hooked up to sensors. The chair would amplify their thoughts and turn them into reality. If the subject thought of an object, that object would materialize. If they focused on a person, they could see through that person's eyes anywhere in the world. It was the ultimate spy weapon. But as the experiments went on, they stopped looking at this world and started looking at others. Now, you might be thinking, this is just a ghost story. But ask the locals who lived in Montauk in the 1980s. The residents reported bizarre phenomena. Fishermen said that when they sailed near the base, their radios would fry and their compasses would spin wildly. People reported severe headaches and strange weather patterns that only occurred over the base. And then there was the radar tower. Officially, it was turned off. But locals swore that at night, the massive dish would turn and pulse. And sometimes, amidst the humming of the electricity, they could hear screaming. The rabbit hole goes deeper. Nichols claimed the technology used at Montauk was actually salvaged from the infamous Philadelphia experiment of 1943, where the Navy allegedly tried to make a ship invisible, but accidentally fused crew members into the metal hull. At Montauk, they tried to stabilize this time warping technology. Nichols claims they ripped a hole in space-time, a portal, a gate to the past, the future, and the dimensions in between. And just like in the show, you cannot open a door without letting something in. Enter Duncan Cameron, one of the supposed psychics. During a final, chaotic experiment, it is said that Duncan released a subconscious fear. He visualized a monster, and the chair made it real. A beast, described as a hairy, hunger-driven creature, physically manifested in the base. It tore through equipment. It hunted the scientists. The only way to stop it was to smash the equipment and cut the power to the chair. The beast faded away, or maybe it just went back into the dark. Years later, in 2008, a strange, unidentifiable carcass washed up on the beaches of Montauk. The world called it the Montauk Monster. Was it a raccoon? A dog? Or was it a leftover genetic mistake from a lab that never truly closed? Officially, the US military denies everything. They say Camp Hero is just a park. Historians call Preston Nichols a fraud. But the Duffer brothers took these whispers and turned them into a global phenomenon. Whether the Montauk Project is fact or fiction, one thing is certain. The parallels are too specific to be a coincidence. The chair, the psychic children, the portal, the monster. Maybe Stranger Things is just a TV show. Or maybe it's a soft disclosure. A way to tell us the truth disguised as entertainment. The only thing scarier than what we imagine is what we are forced to forget. The world is stranger than you think.